All right, guys, welcome back to the Keep It Hoop YouTube channel. It's been a while, and with it being the off season, we had a little bit of a lull, but college basketball season is back, and that means we can start looking at some of the highly touted prospects for next year's class. Before we get started, if you could subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and comment on other players or teams you want us to break down, be greatly appreciated. All right, so today we'll look at Jalen Suggs. Um, Highly touted prospect playing for Gonzaga, who are ranked number one right now. Athletic guard, combo guard, and we'll break down his game obviously through the video. But after going through this game, off the top of my head, um, just first reaction was I like what I see. I really do. I think we are now in a league where obviously athleticism at the point guard position is highly sought after. Unlike point guards 20 years ago, there's just so many point guards in the league that are elite athletes. And the quickness and speed and change of direction, explosiveness, that was always somewhat there, right? You had guys like Baron Davis, Steve Francis, and AI even 20 years ago. But now it's also just the strength and the leaping ability, everything combined, and on top of that, with the way the league has gone, obviously shooting is a premium as well. Um, so this is the first game of the season. They're playing Kansas, so it's not one of those preseason games where they're playing against an unranked team. It's a good competition against a well coached team. Um, to start the clip. I mean, his first basket here just comes off of a press. Um, you're gonna see him pointing up. He throughout the game, you're gonna see him wanting to attack the basket. Like he really enjoys and has confidence in attacking the basket. There's players coming out of high school who are athletic, but you want to see those guys, you know, using their athleticism, wanting to take the contact, and really not being afraid to attack the rim. And that's something you're gonna see a lot. So that's his first basket there. Ends up being a technical. Didn't like the call. Just let him play. Um, this ends up being a good defensive play. Sees that the big right here, right, is back to his back's facing Suggs, right? Is able to then go in, snatch it, pushes the ball, head up, nice creative finish to avoid the defender. All right, so this is a play I want to look at. Defense has been. We're in a weird situation or weird generation of basketball where phrases like two-way player exist, and it's weird because obviously there's gonna be guys who are better at defense than other players, but like to be a complete basketball player, it's assumed that you can play defense. But we're now in a generation of basketball, at least in the NBA, where defense isn't a given anymore. If you can play defense, it's now a plus, which is kind of weird, right? Um, like like there's stars in the league that are kind of like designated hitters in baseball. Like they're great at offense and they don't add much on defense. Um, Having a good defender at the top of you know your defense. So whether you're a point guard or shooting guard, guarding the other team's best perimeter defender, that's huge because we just don't see it as much anymore, right? But guys like Drew Holiday, um, Chris Paul, these guys, Marcus Smart, these guys are so valuable to your team because obviously you want a good rim protector. But if you have that guy who can go in on a nightly basis and play perimeter defense against the other team's best perimeter offensive player, huge plus for your overall team defense. And almost every rookie struggles once they get to the league like on defense. Even the really good ones, because you're just obviously playing way better players, but then you're talking about different schemes. Um, just getting used to the physicality, all of that, right? But I think while even with that in mind, we're going to hopefully try to break down the defense of some of these players going forward. So Suggs made a good defensive play before this. Help defense. Didn't wasn't a crazy help. Didn't leave his guy too open. Saw that the big down there had his back to him. So lower risk, was able to get the steal in the fast break. This time though, I want to point out the wing player right here towards us. He's already pointing, which means you can assume that vocally he's already telling Suggs stay. So they're not gonna, follow their man, right? Suggs is on number 0 right now, but whether it's their defensive principles or this is just a player decision, um, the guy towards us who's guarding the guy getting the ball, he's pointing at Suggs. So they want to switch this. Um, and again, this might end up being something that they weren't supposed to do in terms of defensive principle. I don't know Gonzaga's. Um, I don't know Mark Few's. What their strategy is this year, but um, Suggs kind of gets caught sleeping. His hands are down, not really in a defensive stance. And look at that space, right? It's a lot of space. If this is an NBA player or even a good college player, um, you know, could turn into a wide open three, right? Because you imagine if that's Steph, Clay, KD, um, even a guy like Kyle Korver, George Hill, you know, these knockdown guys. That's not a shot you want to give up. Duncan Robinson, right? And again, even if it's not a shooter, right? Then you talk about guys like LeBron, Giannis, Harden, like you're just giving them a straight line to the rim. And if even if you have an elite rim protector, the last thing you want to do as a perimeter defender is give the opposing player a line drive, a straight line to the rim, because then you're not even giving your team enough time to help and rotate. Number 2 here kind of takes an angle at the rim. Obviously, we try to teach people to drive right to the rim. He kind of goes around, which gives Suggs a little bit of a little bit of time to recover. And it ends up being a turnover, but not because of Suggs' defense. Like that's again, I don't know if it was a you know what their defensive strategy is, but still not great defense there by Suggs. Let's get forward a bit. Now, the one thing I really was impressed with was his passing ability. Sometimes players in high school who are really athletic and if they're better than everybody else on the floor, they don't need to be as creative or as crisp with their passes, right? And I think that's one of the things where things like AAU basketball can hurt fundamentals. But obviously, if you're going to be a good point guard in the NBA, even if you're a scoring point guard, you want to be able to make your teammates better. Um, and this is just the first of the passes he has, but he comes around. We're gonna rewind this a little bit. He's gonna come around. Just a nice dribble handoff. Screen at the top of the key, right? Top of the three. Doesn't pass it yet. Keeps his head up. Waits for this roll, man to roll. The guy who ended up initiating the dribble handoff is a good play because he's going weak side 3-point line, or strong side actually, right? And that's clearing the lane for number 2. So that means 0 on Kansas has to decide if he wants to give up an open 3 or stop the roll man. He's probably thinking his teammate's going to somehow, if 44 can either drop down or if number 1 can switch on to number 2 on Gonzaga, then 0 on Kansas can stay with the shooter coming to the strong side. That being said, Suggs does a nice job of taking on the double team. Instead of continuing to drive, he takes that nice hard dribble at the 3 point line, keeping 44 honest and keeping him up. Nice pass. I think, ideally that's a bounce pass, but still a nice find, leads to a wide open dunk. Nice play there. Um, and then the big thing we've gone over the defense, we've gone over the athleticism and the passing. But the big thing we talked about is passing being so much of a commodity, a sought after skill in the NBA, a premium, right? You look at guys in the NBA. There's guys in the NBA who have stayed in the league for a decade off of just shooting. Right, shooting is now one of those things that will keep you in the league, keep you on the floor. Um, and we've seen athletic guys go into the league and not being able to shoot. The one thing we consistently see is like, even if you're really good at other aspects of the game, if you can't shoot and you end up being a liability on your team, like your team isn't built around you, there are ways for other teams to play you off the floor. And the biggest, like Ben Simmons is probably the most clear example. When Giannis at least takes some, and he's not a great shooter, obviously, but he's willing to take them, and he's just so dominant at every other aspect. But Ben Simmons, while he's close to that, he won't even shoot him, and there's he's had the 0 point playoff games, and it can get really ugly, right? And you look at Jalen Suggs' shot, it's not it doesn't look broken. I don't know what his percentages were in high school, and I don't know how elite of a shooter he is at this point. But it looks like one, he's willing to shoot it, and two, it looks fine, right? Just able to come around the screen, one dribble, no hesitation, and that's what you want to see, right? Form and the repetition, you can improve on. You can get that, as you go on in your career. But that confidence and that willingness to just come off a screen and shoot it, that's something you usually can't teach. So really good to see there. This is the first last play of the first half. Wanted to show. Another thing I saw was Jalen. He's a willing rebounder. He likes to go after the ball. Isn't afraid to box out. Isn't afraid to get in there. Um, and you want that from your guards. Like there's guys who get 5, 6 rebounds a game at the guard position because they play a lot of minutes, but you can tell the difference. Like Jimmy Butler, we talked about this in some of the podcasts and the videos. Jimmy Butler is a great rebounder for his size and his position because he does not care about the contact. He likes going down there and seeking the ball out. That's something I saw from Suggs too. I'm not saying he's on that level of Jimmy, but definitely something we saw. Gets the rebound up against the big, gets it with one hand and pushes it. Now gets a little overzealous, you know, dribbles into a little bit of a 1v4 or 1v3, I think. Yeah, a 1-on-3, and ends up being called for an offensive foul. Turnovers with young guards. I think whenever you play to that next level, so high schoolers coming into college and college to the NBA, and even middle school into high school, turnovers for a point guard, shooting guard, you know, can sometimes be a problem. Usually fixable after a year or two. You just have to get repetitions in, just have to get film sessions in, and the game starts to slow down. But um, I do think this is gonna be something we see, and it's nothing against Suggs. I think this is something we're gonna see from even guys coming in this year, guys like LaMelo Ball. So I don't think it's Kyle Lewis. You name it. I think it's just something that just comes with the growing pains, right? But yeah, got a little overzealous there. Um, so we'll go to second half. All right. So another good pass here you're gonna see from Jalen Suggs, pushing the ball. Nice change of direction. Draws two. Nice little pass, drop off to the big right there. One, I like the fact that he's pushing the ball. He knows he's athletic. He knows he can get to the paint. And while that's not, he wasn't necessarily quote unquote in the paint. We've talked about this before. If your point guard can drive and kick, right, and usually it's 1 foot in the paint, but if you can drive and kick, it just makes your defense. It just puts so much pressure on the other team's defense. Makes your offense so much easier. Um, you're able to get guys shots. Even if they aren't the best at getting themselves shots. And then you just create so much havoc, right? Like you see there, two guys come to Suggs, they drop it off. Even if someone was there to help on the big, then now the big is able to just kick it out, probably to the elbow, weak side elbow, or weak side corner. So if you can drive and you're good enough at finishing, you're usually going to draw two. And if you're drawing two, then your team can play 4-on-3, right? So again, you like the aggressiveness and then you like the vision and the ability, because some people have the vision and just aren't good passers. Some people are good passers but just don't have the vision. For your point guard to have the athleticism, the vision, and the ability to make the pass, great start. Very, very good start. We're gonna see another pass here in a little bit. Right. So they run the offense, right? He's going weak side and then he's gonna come around. Gonna reject the screen, right? And then so Kansas, then I'm assuming this is a wrinkle they had. Bill Self tells his team, all right, let's start hedging the screens harder. So they trap Suggs. Suggs maybe picks up his dribble a little earlier than you want him to, right? Ideally, you want Suggs to either keep his dribble alive a second or two longer or drag the double team out. Because right now you see two guys have to guard three Gonzaga players. Um, if Suggs is able to come out here with the ball or drag the defense out this way, then you're giving these three players for Gonzaga even more space, which means these two defenders have to cover more space and making it effectively more difficult to cover three people with those two. So yeah, I think in a perfect world, you want Suggs to again take a couple more seconds with the dribble or drag the double team out, giving his offensive teammates more space, right? But he makes a nice read here because they're both pinching in on the big right here. They want to stop the layup, which is somewhat understandable. Um, and 30, I think this guy right here was originally on 24 on Gonzaga. So if this guy was pinching in, that means, right, weak side corner is wide open. And again, not only does he have the vision, but the ability to give it to him right in that shooting pocket. Easy jump shot right there. So another good pass right there for Jalen Suggs. You can see an and one coming up right here. Very strong move. Gets out and running. He's always looking for the ball, on transition, which you like again from your point guard. You want your point guard to want the ball, looking to push it, gets the ball, didn't try to avoid the contact, goes right into the defender, under control though. I think that's another thing that was impressive. Now that I'm talking about it, he's athletic, but he's not out of control. Right? He's an above average athlete, but he's under control, right? And sometimes you don't see that from athletic guards, and a lot of times you don't see it from athletic guards that are playing as a freshman, and even less so if they're an athletic guard playing as a freshman in their first game. Very impressive, very impressive. Um, we'll put a little bit more. I mean, out of bounds, play right here. Suggs coming around and again goes right at the defender. He's able to yeah, he's contorting his body. He's avoiding the defender in a way that, like, there's a difference. Some people just avoid the defender because they don't want to get fouled or they don't want the contact. he's putting his body into the defender. Like he's not afraid of the contact, but he's still able to get the shot off by avoiding the defender trying to block him, right? So he's again athletic, strong, but under control. Really nice there. That's another play that that looks easy, but if you've ever played basketball, you know that coming around the screen out of bounds, getting the ball off of 2 feet, going up, going straight up, and then adjusting midair. Um, More difficult than it looks. And then so the the 3 point shooting, is something that again he can always become a better shooter. Wide open look, misses that one, but again, I think he caught it wanting to shoot it, like he wanting to shoot it, being ready. The form looks fine, so I'm actually not worried about a shot at all, because I think that the mental aspect is I think the biggest hurdle that you have to get over. For that, um, for it even more. I have a couple more clips here. All right, so a little bit of an ISO situation. You have you have a screen, defender goes under, and that's NBA range. That's technically. I mean, this is a large logo, but technically from the logo, but still, that's well beyond NBA range. Guy goes under, seamless jump shot, doesn't hit the rim. Again, he sees the defender go under, and there's that's gonna happen, right? Again, he's an athletic defender for quick first step. Showing the ability to drive. So the defender, right, is now making the adjustment by going under the screen. He sees that, and without hesitation, it's not like he came around the screen and then thought about it. He saw the defender go under the screen and immediately went up for the shot. That's again confidence, comes from repetition. It's you. I don't. That's what scouts are gonna love to see from this guy. Very good. Again, the mechanics and the mentality. If those two things are there, I'm not worried. And he's shown both. He's shot off the catch. He's shot off the dribble. He's done it off of screens. Um, and then yeah, you love to see it. You love to see it. Gonna go to so still a pretty close game within 10. Um, Another strong finish right there over the defender in traffic. The thing I liked about that move though is there's no wasted energy, right? No, he's not dancing around. Obviously, you don't see that as much in college, just because coaches are usually a lot more disciplined and harsh when it comes to just going full ISO like in the NBA. But again, he uses the screen, sees that the big is sticking with his man, so that means he has the advantage. Uses his offhand right here, right? You see that really good. Uses his offhand to get the defender off of him, puts his head down and just goes straight. Doesn't, no unnecessary moves, and then just strong finish. Um, I have another one right here. Coming around the screen, uses the pump fake. Again, he likes that up and under kind of, up and under layup. Seen it a couple times now. But he's smart, right? Because he's hit a couple of threes. He hits them with the pump fake, so he knows that they're gonna bite for it. And again, he's shown that if they don't respect his jump shot, he's gonna take it without hesitation. So a little hesitation or a little pump fake gets the defender stepping up, and with his quickness, he just gets right to the rim. Again, three defenders there, and he finds the creativity and the athleticism, concentration, the balance, strength, all of it to finish nicely there, right? And he makes it look easy, makes it look really easy. I mean, another pass here, only a couple more clips. So he gets a little bit of a screen mismatch, pulls it out. I like the patience. And he sees that the defenders here have a little bit of a miscommunication on Kansas. Big is coming out right here, which frees up this whole space for the paint. I don't know if there's a design play, but great recognition by both the cutter and Jalen Suggs right here. Suggs has his head up. He has a little bit of a mismatch, but he's not solely focused on making a highlight play for himself. Great pass right on the target right there, only where his guy can get it, right? It's kind of a football term, but puts it right where only his guy can get it. Hard for the Kansas to, really go in and try to contest for a steal. Gets an easy layup, right? And then this is the last play. Again, this is gonna be a really nice finish. Um, Man, he plays so downhill, and he likes to push. He's not afraid to go at defenders. He likes attacking the rim, and we saw the jump shot and the passing. That's it for this first game. But I mean, he had a really nice game. I'm trying to see here. I think he ended up with. He ends up with 24, 8, and 4 on 9 of 15. Right, he's efficient and one turnover. Um, 4 or 5 from the free throw line, 2 or 3 from three. That's like as perfect of a game as you can have, really. I mean, that's just. I mean, I was impressed. I hadn't seen much of him from high school, and this was my first full game of watching him, but it was really nice. There's some defensive mishaps, and obviously there's the turnover, but he only had one. It's not like he was lazy on defense and he had that many mistakes. Um, Only missed one three. Had one deep three and another one coming off. Both of them coming off the dribble. Attacks the rim. Obviously, it's one game, and as teams get more scouting report on him, I'm sure they'll throw different looks. It's a long season. There's going to be ups and downs, but he's also only going to improve over the course of the season. But yeah, I'm really impressed. I thought he played a really clean game, and has so far showed the potential to be a lottery pick and a high one at that. So yeah, that does it for this episode. Hopefully we can continue to do these. There's definitely other guys we were thinking of covering. If if there's again, if there's anyone you want us to cover or even a team, let us know in the comment section below. Do leave comments, really helps us out. And if you could give us a thumbs up and subscribe, we'd appreciate that as well. And also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Trying to be more active, trying to do different things. Um, trying to finish the year off strong. And it's off season right now, so it's a little bit of a lull. But once we get closer to the season, and when the season ultimately starts in what now? It's about 3 weeks. We'll be pumping out a lot more content. So yeah, thanks for listening and stay tuned.